Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High God Yahweh, Ba'ashem Mashiach, Malak Yahweh Shai. Want to give a strong shalom to all the brothers, sisters, and children who are holding down the household, holding down their temples, trying to do everything they can to make their calling and election sure. Just coming at y'all today with a quick daily bread, man. Just going into how you want to keep a few words. You don't want to be that brother or that sister to just talk too much, to just be rambling on. I'm going to kick it off with the words of Yahweh Shai, man. Book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse number 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. Everything that you say, man, every word that you say, every thought that you have, every action that you commit, all these things you're going to have to take account for in that day, man, when Yahweh Shai come back to judge the world. He not coming back just to slay the heathens, man. He coming back because he got to put some of our people out of this thing. A lot of our people have fallen short by just simply not following the guidance and the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding that our forefathers have gave us, man. They don't want to apply these scriptures. And you know, like the book of Sirach say, every man like to find an excuse according to his folly, paraphrasing, man. I'm going to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 5, and I'm going to start from the top. It said, keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God. You know, brothers, we tend to bring this precept out when we at camp a lot, you know, going in the scoffers and, you know, don't come up to the man of the Lord just saying some foolishness. Hey, but you got to look at this being in the truth, like, even heavier, man. Like just going into that Matthew 12, said you're going to be judged for these things, man. So when you go up to the temple, you sitting in the multitude of elders, you don't want to just be running your mouth, man. Just saying whatever. I'm going to read that again. Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of God, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. It's an evil thing to sit there and try to, you know, overtalk everybody. Somebody spitting some wisdom, and instead of just kind of, you know, soaking it in, or, you know, even if you're talking to somebody who may not have the same doctrine, you can't even just chew the meat and spit the bones. You're just quick to try to cut them up. Like, man, hey, listen to our elders, man. You listen to a brother, listen to a sister. You might be able to learn something, man. Something you may have not known. Something you may have not even looked at in that perspective. You know, all these things, man. This is wisdom that's given to us by our mighty forefather, man, King Solomon. I'm going to keep going. Be not rash with thy mouth, and let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before God. You don't want to just be just saying whatever either, man. Like I said, you're going to be held accountable for these things. You don't want to just come out there and just speaking whatever thing come to your mind, man, just shooting from the hip. Man, hey, that stuff can turn back and bite you in the behind, man. Even when you dealing with Esau in this court system, they tell you that everything that you say can and will be used against you in the court of law, man. That's spiritual. All these things going to be held against you because you got to go to law with your brother, like you're saying 1 Corinthians 6:6, man. Keep going. Verse 3, for a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by a multitude of words. So everybody can, you know, anybody that got discernment, they can tell when a brother is just full of shit, man. When a brother just be talking and you just know that brother just lying. You know, and that he making up a story. You know that he just telling the field, man. He just speaking foolishness. I'm going to read that part again. He said, a fool's voice is known by a multitude of words. Said talking too much, man, it'll get you jammed up. Talking too much, it'll exploit some stuff. You may think that you're speaking clearly, but it's actually biting you in the behind, man. So you may look like a hypocrite to somebody, man. All because you saying a whole bunch of words instead of just getting straight to the point. Reading on. Verse 4. When thou vowest a vow unto Yahweh, defer not to pay it, for he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay it. Suffer thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. Neither say thou therefore before the angel that it was an error. Wherefore should God be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thy hands? So then the Lord can destroy you, man, for just doing things, just like I said, just shooting from the hip, man. Just speaking vanity. Just saying stuff to be saying it, man. I remember back when we was in school, and when you typing out a paper, you know, a teacher may tell you got a 500-word essay, and, you know, like, you're going to run out of words, man, because you're just sitting there rambling on, just making the same point, just over and over. You saying the same thing, you take out an and, you take out a the, and you trying to switch it around, but you just keep saying the same thing, man. The teacher going to know that, hey, you actually didn't learn anything. That you don't even know how to convey your point across. And the Lord said that when you make a vow, you want to pay that thing. I can't tell you how many times our people make vows on a daily basis and don't even realize it. They brothers be saying, you know, I promise. You know, brothers even use the term on me, on God. Hey, man, the Lord said when you pay that vow, you better make sure that you pay it. That's like going into the laws of usury on a brother. If a brother give you $100, man, and you be like, hey, let me hold $100 and I got you next Friday when I get paid, man, don't be trying to wait till after Passover to pay the brother back, man. You say you're going to pay the brother next week, you pay that brother, man. The Lord going to hold you for all these things that you say. The Lord said, it's like, I'm going to go back up to verse 5, said, better is it that thou shouldest not vow than thou shouldest vow and not pay. So the Lord said that it's better for you to not even make that vow, man. Don't even worry about saying any of that stuff, man. He said, don't even say it. Like, what's the point of saying it if you ain't going to hold up your end of the deal? So when you make a promise to the Lord, you can't take that back, man. The Lord going to hold you accountable for that. It said in that, in verse 7, it was going into the angels even hearing these things, man. The angels going to hold account of you. And in that day of judgment, it's going to be like a big book that just come out with just all your deeds, man. And the Lord just, oh, you don't remember this? You don't remember? Hey, you ain't going to be able to just sit there and scratch your head like, I don't know, Lord, man. I don't really remember that. I did that, man. Yeah, you did that, brother. The angels seen it. Yahushua seen it. And most importantly, the Most High God seen it, man. So you got all these witnesses that have just seen the folly and vanity that you committed, man. Going to another book of wisdom, man. These wisdom books are my favorite books of the Bible, man. I'm not one of the brothers that just be trying to look into the deep parables. I like the wisdom because they teach you how to just make it through on a daily basis. How to keep your soul from eternal damnation, man. How to keep you from being jammed up even just on the day-to-day, man, amongst your brothers, and more importantly, with the Lord. Because like I was saying, you're going to have to be held accountable for everything that you do, man. Go to Proverbs chapter 10, and I'm going to start at verse 13. In the lips of him that hath understanding, wisdom is found, man. But a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding. So, man, you void of understanding, man, you get beat down. You get beat down spiritually and physically in this world by not showing the wisdom, man. It's starting off that verse, it said that the wisdom, you know, is coming from your lips. Everything starts as a thought, and then what happens from there, man, it drops down and it ends up coming out of your mouth, man. Whether you saying stuff to yourself, whether you saying it to, you know, your spouse, your children, your friends, your co-workers. I mean, you can't just get on a video, you just hit live and then, you know, just start spewing whatever, man. They end up falling away from the doctrine, just spewing things of your own heart. Verse 14, wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. You got to lay up knowledge, man. What's the point of doing all this studying, all this reading? You just sitting here being the brother that's talking about, yeah, man, I'm mighty in the spirit. I read 7 chapters a day. We got Passover challenges coming up. I bet. I normally read 7. I'm going to read 10. And then next week, I'm going to read 15 chapters a day. And the next week, I'm going to read 20. Up until Passover, I should be at about 35, 40 chapters a day. And what is the point, man, if you ain't applying none of that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that you receiving out of this thing, man? To read the second half of that verse again, it said, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. You're going to destroy yourself, man. You're going to pull down destruction with your own hands. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to destroy yourself with the works of your own hand when the only thing you had to do was keep the faith of the Lord, to let thy speech be short, to apply knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in these daily basis, man? Going to Sirach, chapter 32, and verse 7. Says, speak, young man, if there be need of thee, and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked. It says, speak when there is need of you, man. Like I was saying, when you're in a multitude of elders, man, imagine being in a room on a feast day. You got Priest of Box in the room, man. You got Gorilla Hebrew in the room. You got Yahweh All in the room, man. You got all these mighty brothers who are heads over all these camps, and, you know, officers and vanguards and generals, you know, of all these men. But you just want to spew your own, man. You don't think that you pick up things from these brothers, man? You don't think everybody that's the leader of a camp, they wasn't under somebody else before they decided to hit the highways and byways by themselves? You got to get built up in this thing, man. It said, read that again. Speak, young man, if there be need of thee. It said, and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked. Somebody asks you a question, that's when you should be giving an answer. You got brothers, you know, trying to make decisions on how to do things amongst the body, you know, do things to edify the sheep, you know, any of these things, man. And you just want to jump in the conversation and try to include yourself in something, man. Brothers talking that got 20 years of experience. Here you go. You found out you was an Israelite 2 months ago, and now you sitting there talking about, yeah, you know, well, I would break it down this way. No, see, the way that y'all break down Deuteronomy 28:6, that ain't it. That that you've been breaking it down wrong all this time. Hey, man, that's off. It says speak when they ask you a question, man. That's when you're supposed to open your mouth. The same way you want to honor your elders and the mighty men before you. You want to honor them the same way that you would honor your parents. If your parents tell you to do something, you know, they usually speaking out of one, just knowledge, two, out of guidance because they're your parent, and then three, because most importantly, they've done it before. I heard that all the time growing up, man. Parents say, been there, done that. But then as a child, you know, you thinking simply, so you be like, nah, yeah, I can figure this out on my own. No, hey, they giving you guidance. You don't buck up when somebody is speaking from experience. That's when you're supposed to kind of just hold back. Hold your tongue, man. Verse 8. Let thy speech be short, comprehended much in few words. And that's a key point about, you know, a lot of people in general, not even just in this walk. You know, a lot of people, they tend to want to, you know, argue and not actually understand. Like a lot of people, they had these, you know, debates because, you know, brothers get heavy in the scriptures. You know, you start getting heavy with learning some history, and, you know, and you got that zeal, you want to bring it out to the world. But at the same time, it's like you got to know how to handle your opponent. Like when it comes to a real life debate, you have to understand the opposing view. You can't just sit there and just attack. No, you got to be able to understand where they coming from and be able to debunk that thing. Salakia. It said, let thy speech be short, comprehended much in few words, but as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue. Even if you may know where they going with a point, you still can, you know what I'm saying, fall back a little bit and learn how to chop that thing down. One of my favorite teachers that I looked up to coming into the truth, Captain Taz from Sakari, San Diego. That's one of the characteristics that brother got, is he able to listen to somebody and instead of hopping on every single point, he hop on that one big point that'll chop them all the way down. Salakia. I'm like, and you know, that's a good uh a good trait to have, a good characteristic to have, and that's one of the things that you only learn through experience and through wisdom, through patience. It said, "Let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words. He is one that holdeth in Salaki. He is one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue." So Salaki, I was trying to go on to that point before the cough came, but it said that even though you may know, you know what I'm saying, where somebody going with something, you may have seen these arguments, you may have heard these arguments. You know, brothers be on Clubhouse, kind of listening to, you know, debates and, you know, videos and live teachings and, you know, all kinds of things that you can get, you know, some understanding and get some, you know what I'm saying, some edification from. Is that if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. And when ancient men are in place, use not many words. That's just going into the point that I was making earlier, that when you're around, you know, brothers that got more experience, you know, may got more understanding, you know what I'm saying, you kind of want to hold back. You don't want to be that person that they call in the world a know-it-all, man. So you don't want to just act like that you know everything, you know what I'm saying, that you know more than the next brother, man. Even though sometimes you may not, you just sit back, you just learn a different perspective, man. And another thing about words is they can also destroy, you know, relationships. Whether it's, you know what I'm saying, with somebody that you look up to, whether it's just a peer, whether it's whether it's your spouse, you know, co-workers, friends, any of this stuff, man. Like, things that you say based on, you know, the situations, it could change the whole dynamic of the way that the situation is going, man. Everything could have been smooth, but instead, you know what I'm saying, you was just rash with words, and it ended up putting a spirit on somebody, and now your friendship can get ruined, man. Like, go to Proverbs, another book of wisdom. Proverbs chapter 15 and verse number 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. Imagine just, you know, somebody, they already kind of heated, they came to you just to vent, and instead of you just being the listening ear, instead you start being like, man, brother, you don't know what the hell going on. Brother, you tripping. You got to calm down, man. No, see, what you should do is this. And you kind of egging them on, getting them in a totally different spirit. Somebody, you know, kind of riled up, you could have calmed them down, but instead, you enticing them to do more wickedness, man. To making them get out of the spirit even more. I said, if we going to be held accountable for these things, man. I'm going to go to Sirach chapter 8. I'm just trying to use a couple different, you know what I'm saying, situations on when and when not to speak and what to say when you do speak, man. Sirach chapter 8 and verse 16. Strive not with the angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place, for blood is as nothing in his sight, and where there is no help, he will overthrow thee. You know, just going into what I was saying, that, you know, somebody may be in a bad mood, somebody already called so-called, you know, heated up, somebody on 10, you know what I'm saying, they already out the spirit, and you want to strive with that person. It's not a good idea, man. You looking to get destroyed. You looking for him to overthrow you, man. Verse 17. Consult not with the fool, for he cannot keep counsel. And usually when somebody in that situation, you know, yeah, they're not technically a fool, but they being foolish at that moment. So you want to, you know, adjust what you gonna say based on, you know, the situation, what's going on, you know, what they saying. because you don't want things to get worse. You don't want a situation to get out of hand for no reason, man. So what you want to do in a situation like that is be like our mighty forefather, the brother Paul, man. 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 22 said, to the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all means save some. And, you know what I'm saying, that's how you going to pull a brother out the fire in a situation like that. Where somebody, you know what I'm saying, got somebody all riled up. You want to be the person that kind of, you know, bring them back down. You want to become weak, man. If they having a weak moment, you want to be a weak moment. You don't want to be completely opposite. You want to do like the world say and match energy, man. Kind of get that brother, get that sister back on track. You know what I'm saying? You want to come to them humbly, man. You don't want to match energy, you know what I'm saying, when they riled up and you riled up, and then now y'all end up bumping heads when y'all actually was agreeing, and it's just a total misunderstanding, man. Or just end up not even, you know, getting along. Your friendship kind of come to an end all because of simple misunderstanding, man. So then that turned into some he say, she say, and now it's just, you know what I'm saying, a snowball effect. But just everything just get turned upside down, man. I'm gonna end it out with a law. Book of Leviticus. So I said Levi. Book of Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 16. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people, neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am the Lord. Hey, you don't want to stand against the blood of your neighbor, man. Stand against the blood of your neighbor in that situation, you know what I'm saying, when somebody already, you know, kind of going through it and they out the spirit, you know what I'm saying, when you put them even in a deeper bind, a deeper situation, then you're going to have to answer for that thing because you forwarded the affliction instead of helping pull them out the fire, man. But I hope that this video was edifying. You know, try to give brothers and sisters something that they can meditate on and something they can apply on a daily basis. We're giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem HaMashiach, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.